So today I want to show you the Bitcoin mining farm we opened in Africa, in Congo, in Virunga. So I just want to show you a very short video, 5 minutes, and we can talk about this Bitcoin mining farm after. Thank you. Soon.
Virunga National Park spans more than 3,000 square miles and is home to over 50% of the animal species on the continent. It's also Africa's oldest national park and part of the second largest rainforest on Earth, making the lungs of Africa a critical battleground in the fight against climate change. Criminal factions are poaching wildlife and burning the forest at breakneck speed, and their actions are affecting all of us.
When it comes to the rebel groups and the militias, why did they choose Virunga? Why are they here?
You know, it's the civil war in Congo, then the Rwanda genocide that brought them here. But what's kept them here is the illegal trafficking of natural resources in the east of Congo, in particular Virunga National Park. So there you'll see some charcoal burning.
Yep.
It's the guerrilla sector. It's under enormous threat from the clearing of forest. There's thousands of acres of forest that have been cleared for charcoal, and it's really the main source of revenue for those militias.
Rebel groups and armed militias have pillaged Virunga. By burning trees and turning them into charcoal, they've created a $40 million a year black market that preys upon basic human needs, like boiling water and cooking food.
What we desperately need is clean energy, renewable energy, not oil and not charcoal.
And where is this renewable energy solution taking place?
Well, let me show you.
Emmanuel brings me to Matebe, home to a run-of-river hydroelectric plant in the heart of Virunga. It's powered by the Rutshuru River, which flows from Lake Edward and generates 14 megawatts of electricity, enough energy for over 1.5 million residents in nearby Goma. Since there's no dam, there's minimal disruption to the natural ecosystem.
We're hoping in the next 8 years to create 8 power plants like this to generate 105 megawatts. That is enough power to create between 80 and 100,000 jobs. Enough to draw out all the young men and women from the militias and work on a whole new instrument for bringing stability to the region.
We met Emmanuel de Merode at the beginning of 2020. 2 hydroelectric plants were already in operation, and a third one, on the Louvieau River, was due for completion 6 months later. But it was clear to him that the grid in this extremely isolated area would not be ready, and it would be a long time before the plant would have sustained demand. The ideal would be an electro-intensive customer who would set up on the production site. But who would want to set up a factory in Congo, in the country's most dangerous zone, in the middle of the jungle, in a mountainous area, with no real roads, no internet, and the closest village more than 4 hours away? Could Bitcoin mining cope with these conditions? We thought so. Would any professional miners risk their lives and their production tools in this environment? Well, before saying yes, we studied the situation. Emmanuel de Merode and his team's commitment to the preservation of the park is a fight to the death. Over 200 rangers have been killed in the last 20 years, and he himself was ambushed and shot several times with an AK-47. We were in the presence of true ecological fighters, heroes, and they were asking for our support. So, we started as soon as the plant opened in September, with 2 containers. The Virunga farm was born. Nothing has been easy, as the violence has only intensified over the last 3 years. In addition to chronic insecurity, we've had numerous storms cutting off power to the farm, and recently, floods on a scale never seen before in the region. But it is a resounding success. For the Virungas, the revenue coming from this farm is about $100,000 per month, and that's enormous. We've shown the park management that we can absorb the excess power with extreme conditions and constraints where no electro-intensive industry would set foot. Only mining can do this. Without mining, the Louvieau plant would be working at 20% capacity. Without mining, the park would be at risk of bankruptcy. This is what Emmanuel de Merode has just revealed to the American press. Today, the fourth Virunga hydroelectric power station is under construction in the northeast, near Ronguba, and already the park authorities know that mining will be essential for this 30 megawatt unit. So when someone tells you that the electricity used for Bitcoin could be used for something else, for a more dignified purpose, remember the Virunga farm.
Pour Catalé, tout le monde a sa ceinture, c'est bon. Si vous avez mal au cœur, il y a des sachets, ok. Ou bien il y a la chemise devant. Se lécher. Mais tant que ça ne touche pas l'avion, c'est bon.
Thank you. It's the first time I see this video in English, so it's a little bit emotional. So if you have some question about this farm and about the consumption of electricity, it's open. Mr. Noisa. Wait for the micro.
Are you active in other parts of the world, or is it just Africa?
Yes, we have a second big one farm in Paraguay on the Itaipu Dam, and we have last year we opened a farm in Oman, a national Bitcoin mining farm with the government of Oman. Yeah.
In Oman, it's what? It's methane, flare methane, or is it?
Yes. Correct, it's flare gas. Yeah. That's all. So I want to show you with this electricity, the Virunga Park. You heard the name of the manager of the park is Emmanuel de Merode, so we are in his family house here. And with this electricity, they created a factory of chocolate, so you can get one. It's free for you. One per person, and it's here. So you have to take one before to go out. So no more question about it? Yes, please. How did you fix the problem of internet over there? It's a very interesting question, so you can repeat it. Wait for the micro. Thank you.
How did you fix the problem of internet over there?
At the beginning, we had one satellite connection. After we bought one second satellite connection because it was not efficient. And now, it's a secret. For 3 weeks, we have the Elon Musk solution. And it's very, very efficient. But it's not open in Congo. It's open in Rwanda. So it works very well, but it's not official.
Hello, thank you for the great video and presentation. How do you solve the heat problem in this location?
It's strange, but in this part of Africa, we are in the mountain, so you have 25 degrees every day. It's always flat. Sometimes 30 degrees at midday, but it's okay to make mining. After 55 degrees, it's hard, but it's not the case here. In Oman, for example, we are in immersion cooling, but here we don't need it. We are with a classical cooling system with air. Yeah, it's enough. Yeah. Thank you for the question.
When I talk about Bitcoin and climate change, I often use your example and the example of Virunga Park. Often people tell me, okay, but it's one example, but it's a small part of the electricity needs of Bitcoin, and it's not something. I mean, the rest of the electricity is problematic with Bitcoin. What is your vision on that point?
We know now that 60% of the mining is on green energy. And if you are on green energy with a cheap price, because we need a very cheap price of electricity, it's because you work on surplus. It's impossible to buy electricity less expensive than the other customers. So when you have mining somewhere, it's because they have no clients, no customers for this electricity. It's always the same case. But this one is very easy to understand. But we are doing exactly the same thing in Paraguay on Itaipu Dam. It's exactly the same thing. It's a very, very big dam. I think it's 800 megawatts, so it's like a nuclear reactor, you know. And they can't sell all this electricity. So they have maybe 30% of capacity with no clients. So we can buy the electricity very cheaply, and it's good for the electricity company. They can continue to give cheap electricity to people. So it's good for everybody, yeah, sure. Another question? It's okay? Okay.
Hello?
Yes?
Yes. If the use case is so good for everyone, what is the biggest blocker for this to scale massively to all the countries or all the different use cases like this? Why is there only 3 use cases and not scaled everywhere? What is blocking that?
Oh, I think it's everywhere. You have this case of example everywhere in the world. Yeah? In South America, we have 6 or 7 projects in Africa like this one. You have many small plants in Africa with no clients. So mining can be a very good way to develop these areas, these countries. Is it no?
What's the biggest pushback that you get from?
The biggest?
What is the biggest pushback you get from governments of not wanting to do this?
From this government in Congo?
In general, when you speak to politicians, why would they not want to do this?
The only one country where I have some problem to do mining is France, you know. But everywhere else they are open because we only give money for something with no value at the moment. So each government says, "Oh, it's a good idea." In Oman, it's particular. In Oman, you have the central bank against Bitcoin. They write in the newspaper, Bitcoin is it's awful and all. And the boss of the country, the Sultan, said, no, mining is cool. So never forget that the central banks are not elected, so they don't have to manage the country. Yes? No? Okay, so if there's no more question, we can take the chocolate and sorry.
Do you get support from government in Africa, or I mean, you're mostly in Africa?
We have intellectual support. Yes, they don't give us money to make mining if it's the question, never, and we don't ask it. We just want to be in capacity to work. That's all. So, but we work with the governments always because the electricity is, in general, national resource and national companies. So we have to work with the Ministry of Energy and sometimes with the president because it's important income for the country.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. Sorry, one more.
Thank you. Is it possible to buy some share of your company?
We used to sell the machines, the ASICs, to do mining, yes. So we have investors, and we have some private clients with one ASIC, so it's 4,000 investment. But it's mining, and it's special for particular people. You have to learn the mining before because it's really risky. your machine can be break, you know, so when it's the case, you lose all. So you have to have several machines, maybe 3 or 4 or 5, so it's a big investment. Is it okay? Yes, thank you so much.